kita sambut our host, Mrs. Denise Strickland, dan juga Christian Educator untuk menyampaikan tentang growing up on Mars. Are we on Mars right now? Or we are still on Earth? Where am I? Where are we? Let's find out. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. So we're talking today about growing up on Mars. Why am I calling it Mars? I'm using a term from Jonathan Haidt in The Anxious Generation. And so we're going to start with a little story. Are you ready to hear a story? Okay, imagine with me. Here we go. Suppose that when your first child turned 10, 10 years old, a visionary billionaire, maybe like Elon Musk, or I don't know, Bill Gates, or who else? I don't know, somebody really impressive, right? A visionary billionaire whom you've never met chose your child to join the first permanent human settlement on Mars. Can you imagine this? Her academic performance, plus an analysis of her genome, which you don't really remember giving permission for anyone to have, clinched her for the spot. And unbeknownst to you, she actually signed herself up for the mission because she loves outer space. And besides, all her friends have signed up, and she begs you to let her go. Before saying no, you agree to learn more. You learn that the reason they're recruiting children is that they adapt better to unusual conditions. Maybe better than adults would, especially in this new environment of Mars, particularly the low gravity. If children go through puberty and it's associated with growth in its growth spurt when it happens on Mars, their bodies will become permanently tailored to that environment. Unlike the settlers who come over as adults. At least that's the theory. It's really unknown whether Mars-adapted children will be able to return to Earth or not. Right? Thank you. I love that you're imagining this. I love it. Well, you find some other reasons for fear. First, there's radiation. Earth's flora and fauna evolved under the protective shield of the magnetosphere, which blocks and diverts most of the solar wind, cosmic rays, and other stressors and streams of harmful particles that bombard the planet. Mars doesn't have a shield. And so a far greater number of ions of radiation would shoot through the DNA of each cell of your daughter's body. The project planners have built protective shields for Mars based on studies of adult astronauts who have a slightly elevated risk of cancer after spending a year in space. But children are at even higher risk because their cells are still developing and diversifying more rapidly, and they would experience higher rates of cellular damage. Oh, but didn't children tell you that they want to go? Didn't your child say she wants to do it? Did the planners take this into account when they selected your child? Did they do any research on child safety at all? As far as you can tell, the answer is what? No. You're thinking, Well, and then there's the gravity. Evolution optimized the structure of creatures over eons for gravitational pull on our particular planet. From birth onward, each creature's bones, muscles, joints, and cardiovascular system is developing in response to this one-way pull of gravity. Removing this constant pull will have profound effect on our bodies. The muscles of adult astronauts who spend months in weightlessness of space, they become weaker and their bones become less dense. Their body fluids collect in places where they shouldn't. like their brain cavity in their skull, which puts pressure on their eyeballs and changes their shape. Mars has gravity, but it's only 38% of what a child would experience on Earth. Did the planners think about the risk of deformities to our children's skeletons, their heart, their eyes, their brains? As far as you can tell, the answer is no. So would you let your daughter go to Mars? Would you? In that circumstance? No. You would say, absolutely not. This does not sound safe or well thought through, right? You cannot experiment on my daughter. Betul? Yeah. You realize, right? We all realize that's an insane idea. Sending our children to Mars, perhaps never to return to Earth. Why would any parent allow it? The company behind the project is racing to stake its claim as the first one to go to Mars before any other rival company. The leaders don't seem to know anything about child development, and they don't even seem to care about children's safety. What's worse, the company did not even require proof of your permission before your child signed up. As long as the child checks the box saying she has your permission, she can blast off to Mars. Does that sound dangerous? Yeah. No company would ever take our children away and endanger them without our consent, right? As it turns out, technology companies based on the west coast of the United States of America created a set of world-changing products that took advantage of the rapidly growing internet. There was all kinds of optimism, kind of like there is around AI right now. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Everything's going to be better. Yes, some people can connect and communicate, and it seems like it'll help. But the tech industry wasn't just transforming life for adults. It began transforming life for children. And guess what? No one did any research. No one considered how it might affect how a child grows and whether they are going to ever be able to learn how to live on Earth. In this technological age that we're in, it's exciting, lots of opportunities. But there is a real danger that now we have research and data that tells us is really hugely changing the way our children live and learn. We've sent them to Mars when we've given them a smartphone or an iPad without really monitoring it. We've sent them to Mars and they aren't prepared, and it's not safe. So let's look and see what's next. Next. We're going to talk today about 4 things. We're going to do some fun things together to make it fun. First, we're just going to talk about what is the issue. What has happened that has changed childhood, and how do we know it's changed? That's the great rewiring. 2 kinds of childhood. There's phone-based childhood and there's play-based childhood. Then we're going to analyze what the data says and what it means. And then we're going to look at what do children need to grow? What is it, how God designed them to grow? And what are we maybe doing well? And what are we maybe not doing well to help them grow? Safetyism isn't safe. We're going to talk about that. And then we'll have some takeaways. Okay, next. So here's the background. Next slide. Yeah. So I'm, again, basing it on this book, I'm Growing Up on Mars, The Great Rewiring of Childhood, and a lot of the data that has come out from this, and now there's an entire website and lots of like partner companies that are joining together, and it's becoming a worldwide movement about how we need to think about and protect our children in this digital age so that we're not sending them to Mars without knowing the risks and without knowing how to adapt. Next. So I want to take a quick poll. How many of you are a millennial? Raise your hand if you're a millennial. Okay, hands high. Okay. Now, raise your hand if you're a Gen Z parent. Raise your hand if you're Gen Z. Oh, thank you. Gen Z, only one? No, come on, who else? I see another one there. I can see some young faces, muda. Okay, if you're a Gen Z person, maybe you're not, you're a parent. Maybe you're just here for fun. If you're a Gen Z person, you were born in 95. Okay, so my kids, my own children, I have two of them that are millennials. Dara and Chase, my first two, are millennials. My youngest son is a Gen Z. He was right at the edge. He was born in 1998. So he's in the Gen Z category. And then the next generation, the kids that we have now, they're called what? Gen Alpha, right? So there's some really important things that have happened in our world between these generations. Millennials, we grew up in a certain kind of environment that the book would argue is play-based. Our childhood was based on play. We didn't have a lot of gadgets, right? Gen Z, you guys grew up in the middle of this incredible transformation with technology, this technological advancement. And you actually went through your most, you don't really, in science, you don't say it's your critical period, but we say, because certain species have critical periods, like a duck has a critical period to where it decides what to imprint on. It's like, who's my mama, right? You read the little kids' books, like, who's my mama, right? And it's like when they're babies, they just look for something and they're like, okay, you look like the mama, so I'll follow you, right? And they think that you're the parent, even though you're a human, right? And you're like, I am not your parent. But they can't tell because they have this critical period where they form an attachment and bond, okay? So humans have something similar. It's not a true critical period, but child development, people call it a sensitive period. And the sensitive period is about a couple different times in a young person's life. In the first 3 years, huge sensitive period, huge, all the way up really till about 4 or 5. And then another one happens again during puberty, big sensitive period, where your development is greatly, greatly impacted by what's happening in your environment around you, okay? So Gen Z is the generation that went through their sensitive period of puberty during a technological revolution. And it has greatly changed the way they think and the way they parent. And so it'll be interesting to see if you recognize yourself in some things later. So the 2010 to 2012 smartphones is when the transformation really happened. We can kind of look back at history and target. 2010 is when the first smartphone started becoming available with a front-facing camera. And then in 2012 is when Facebook bought Instagram, and it became like a consolidated thing, which just like exploded. Mark Zuckerberg, right? Those two things have had a significant impact in our children. Oops. So in the mid-2010s, we've transitioned from something called the real world to the virtual world. What does that mean? Well, it means there's two kinds of childhood. There was this before technology, which was play-based, and then there's since technology, which has been more phone-based. And what does that mean? So let's look. Sorry, I'm clicking all over. I don't know where I'm supposed to point. Is it to this? Sorry, thank you. Oh, point to here. Thank you. They're directing me. They're like, this is where you point. Okay, thank you. So just so that we can define our terms, what do we mean by real world and virtual world? Well, the real world means it's embodied. You're actually in it, right? It's synchronous. Things are happening at the same time. So whatever's happening to you is happening to what people around you. It's all happening at the same time, right? Communication style is one-to-one. I'm talking to one person at a time, or one-to-many, like this. This is a one-to-many, one-to-several, right? Not really many, one-to-several usually. But this is more like seminar style. So like in our just daily life, right? We're just talking to one person or maybe a group of people, right? And we're all physically present when we're talking, and we're all having that conversation at the same time. And then there's something called a high bar to enter and exit. So this is a group dynamic. In other words, you have to be sort of chosen to be in the group, right? Like, you know how kids are, I don't want to play with you. And so you're, right? So they're not going to, you're not in the group, right? And maybe it's because earlier you stepped on my foot, and so I'm mad at you, and I don't want to play with you right now, right? And so there's kind of like these unwritten rules of being able to be in the group. And it's whether you play the way I want, do the things I like, right? So that there's a high bar to enter and a high bar to exit, because once you're my friend, I want you to stay my friend. And I don't want you to leave being my friend. And then I get my feelings hurt if you stop playing with me and you play with somebody else, and what happened, right? So it's a high bar to enter and exit. There's like kind of rules and boundaries around it. The virtual world is the exact opposite. You're not physically in it. It's just in your brain. It's asynchronous, meaning it's not happening at that exact time. It could be happening multiple times in different places in different scenarios, right? Communication is almost always one-to-many if we're thinking about social media. One-to-many, and it's one-to-many, and it can be friends plus acquaintances, or one-to-many as in whoever's online, the whole world, strangers, right? It doesn't happen one-to-one. It happens multiple parallel. So instead of me just having a conversation with Regina, right, on my phone, I can be having 4 conversations happening all at the same time, and I'm toggling, right, back and forth on my WhatsApp. Mr. Strickland hates that. He can't do that very fast because he's a millennial. He's actually a baby boomer. He's a little bit older. He's a baby boomer, and he's like, my brain doesn't do it. I've learned to adapt as a millennial, but boy, my Gen Z son, I'm like, you're having 10 conversations while you're talking to me. I feel like this is disrespectful, right? It's really different, right? Okay, but notice the group dynamic. Low bar to enter and exit. It's like, do you want to follow me? I have no idea who you are. Follow, right? Low bar. Okay, do you get what I mean? And if you want to block, boop, block, and they're not going to even know. Right? So there's no like consequence for entering or exiting the group. Does that make sense? Okay. So the smartphone radically changed how childhood is experienced and has resulted in some pretty significant impacts. So let's analyze the impact. This is the cover, same book, but it's the British version, and I liked because it was outer space, because we're on Mars, and so I use this cover. So what the data shows and what the data means. So the thing that Jonathan Haidt sort of argues in his book, he's actually a respected social psychologist. He's not a Christian, by the way, but so much of what he says is like he is speaking God's word. You're reading it and you're thinking, does this man know Jesus? And you're like, no, he doesn't. But he's actually speaking God's truth and he doesn't even know it. That's amazing. So he has studied the mental health increase that's happened in adolescents and young people, especially Gen Z, right? And he said, what is going on? And his kind of argument, his thesis is, it looks like Gen Z and the rising generation's well-being are very negatively impacted by two big things. And notice it's not smartphones. Do you notice that? The smartphone is not the thing that's evil. What is it that's creating the issue? Overprotection in the real world by parents of their children, and underprotection in the virtual world. And I don't think we realize that we're doing it. And I didn't even think about it until I started reading the book. Where am I pointing? Okay. So what are the 4 foundational harms that Jonathan Haidt identifies that's harming children in a phone-based childhood? He says they're being deprived social interaction. It's like we're starving them for real relationship because everything's happening virtually. We are depriving them of sleep when we allow them to have a device that's unsupervised in their rooms at night because your child is addicted and can't put it down, even though they want to. Why? Because the business companies designed it that way. People are calling it like the new nicotine. It's the new cigarette. It's this generation's cigarette. And in the beginning, all the tobacco companies were like, it's fine, it's no problem, smoke all you want, it's cool. Everybody's smoking. And then 20 years later, oh my gosh, everyone's dying of lung cancer. Why? Oh, because they're smoking. That's kind of what's happening now. 2010 to 2012, we're about 25 years out of that, right? Or less, 20 years so. We're starting to see, oh, this is actually like a drug, and it's dangerous, and we need to be careful. And it creates attention fragmentation, meaning students have trouble focusing. I don't know if you notice that in your children or in yourself. Okay, so here's the other data. A phone-based childhood's impact on well-being. It started in the major 2010s. This is how he started realizing there was something that happened. And you can see that shaded area is what's showing the years when the smartphone began becoming like just everywhere. And you can see that in the United States, look at the episodes rise in depression. This is the percentage. So it was like 15% in 2005. No, it was less than that. It was like 12% in 2000, whatever that is, 5. And then by the time we get to 2020, it's gone up to 28%. And for boys, it's rising as well. And then what they're seeing is most of it, when we're looking at undergraduates in college now, the kids that grew up, the Gen Z kids that grew up during that sensitive period with devices, and you can see here's where the devices hit. So this is when they're in puberty, later childhood and puberty. Look at what's happening in their emotions and their mental well-being. Anxiety is skyrocketing. Depression, skyrocketing. ADHD has increased some. These have increased just in a very minor way, but you can notice that they don't seem to really be impacting these major mental health diseases, but this is enormous. Then if we look at things like self-harm, how harmful is this mental health crisis? We can see that per 100,000 children or girls, this is how many are harming themselves compared to what it used to be. Look at the rise in that. And do you see where the trigger happened? I mean, it's so clear. It's such strong corollary evidence, right? Same with suicide rates in boys. This is boys. Look at this. boys' suicide rates are skyrocketing. They've started going down a little bit, and that's hopeful. They've gone up with girls, but you can see that it's self-harm and suicide are really a problem. Wow, that's really amazing. It just went bonkers. I did not actually push all those buttons. Had a seizure or something. So it's not just in the United States or in the UK or in Australia, it's around the world. And we can see that if we look at a study that is the PISA test, which is a test that students take around the world. So every country around the world takes this test. It's just a select, kind of like the ANBK, where just a few kids are selected to do it. But we can look and see 15 to 16-year-olds, the way they have rated themselves in terms of their alienation. Do they feel lonely at school? That's the question. Do you feel lonely at school? Look at the increase in loneliness after everyone gets a smartphone. Isn't that interesting? And then see if you can determine what's changed. This is in the UK. This is 1975 to 2005. We start at 0. Now, these are screen-based activities. Now, remember, screens is also the TV, right? So you can see that everyone's getting a TV in the UK, right? And so what are the things that are dropping and what are the things that are rising in their kids' activities? Can you see it? What are they not doing very much anymore? Outdoor play. Socializing outside of their home, especially while unsupervised. Like they're not just free to go to. When my kids lived here the first time in 2007, I remember Clay was in fourth grade, and he and his older siblings, they would, after school or on a Saturday, they would say, we're going to go to PVJ. And I'm like, okay. And they would hop on an Anko and go to PVJ, and they would all go hang out at the mall together with friends. He was in 4th grade. Do you think we're letting our kids do that now? We're not. And why not? That's the question. Let's talk about that in a little bit. So, unsupervised play, allowing kids to do things that seem scary or risky to us now, were pretty normal then. And screen-based activities and homework and sports, that's really gone up. And it's all supervised activities, like lots of extracurricular. We're going to go do swimming lessons. We're going to do art lessons. We're going to do Chinese lessons, right? The structuredness of a child's life has increased. So just a few fun facts that are scary. 1 in 4 children report that they are addicted to their phone, and it interferes with their ability to do their life. 2 out of 3 11 to 17-year-olds say they often or sometimes have difficulty putting their smartphones down. That's a huge percentage of children, right? It's 2/3 of all children. I have trouble letting go of this thing that feels like it's part of my body instead of a tool. So how can we nurture little humans to learn and grow so that they're prepared to live well in our increasingly digital landscape, which we're kind of fondly calling Mars right now? How can we do that? By returning to how God designed children to grow and learn through play, and I would call it free play, not overly structured play, through play, through independence, through responsibility in the real world. So let's look and see what that looks like a little bit. So what are the benefits of a play-based childhood? How is technology evil? No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying there is a time and a place, like Ecclesiastes. There's a time to use devices. There's a time to not use devices. And there's an age appropriateness to things that are not the same, right? So we don't put our child in a car and say, I'd like you to drive me to school today when you're 5. Well, first of all, their feet don't even touch the pedals, right? They can't. They can't even see over the dashboard. It's just not age appropriate, right? They don't have the ability to make good decisions, right? They won't know what to do if something scary happens, right? They're not equipped for that task, right? So we're not saying devices are bad, so I want you to hear me. I'm saying that there is a way to do it that is good, and what we have to be is a little countercultural, and we need to return to letting children grow up the way they were intended to grow up, with a play-based childhood and not a phone-based childhood. So cognitive development just means your knowledge, all these things you're building through play. I'm sure you know and you've seen all those things before, right? I'll let you look at it for a second. Any words you don't understand? Self-regulation just means self-control, like not throwing a tantrum, right? Cause and effect, spatial reasoning, like I know where things are in space. I know where my body is in space. I know how things work in the physical world, right? So imagine this. Imagine you have your little one, like they're a toddler. They're maybe between crawling and walking. They're just trying to figure out how to walk. And let's say you set them down every day and you show them a video of how to walk. Every day, show them a video of how to walk. But do not ever let them do it. Will they learn to walk? No. We cannot just be passively watching something and actually be living, right? And so we know that when a child is learning to walk, they're going to fall and they're going to hurt themselves and they're going to figure out how to make a better balanced decision the next time around, right? Because that's how we learn, right? So that's kind of what play-based childhood is. It's saying, go let children be children. Let them play a lot. Don't over-direct it. And let them experience the joy of growing confidence and competence. Oh, sorry. This is really a fun. This is how Jonathan Haidt defines play-based childhood. What are the words that you notice? Majority. In other words, like most of a child's time. So now it's hard to do when they're in school, right? Early childhood, but that's why we dismiss early. That's the whole reason we do not have early childhood go until 3 o'clock or 2:45, because of this. What do children need to do after being here? Play! And what does it mean to play? Go play outside. And are they playing by themselves? Go play with some friends. And do you need to be right there? No. Depending on where they are, and you've surveyed the risks, right? They need some ability to play without you telling them exactly how to do it. Okay. So safetyism isn't safe. These are the needs. Let them grow through play, story, and responsibilities. There's a new book that Jonathan Haidt has just published, and I haven't read it yet, and I'm really excited, so I'm kind of advertising it to you so that I also will get it. It's called The Amazing Generation. So he's saying the anxious generation is the problem with this phone-based childhood thing that's happened in our society, thinking that we can't live without a smartphone glued to our personhood. And so now let's figure out how to raise an amazing generation. And what does that look like? What's needed? Okay, look at this picture. Imagine your child on that playscape. How are you feeling? I can see the a little nervous, right? Especially look at that kid at the top. Now, right? Your mama heart or your daddy heart's like, oh my gosh, they're gonna fall. That looks really dangerous. I don't think we should be doing that. Am I right? Yeah. This is our response. It's like, ah, danger, don't do that. But here's what a pediatrician in Canada is saying very loudly. What does it say? Children should be kept as safe as necessary during play, but not as safe as possible. Remember when your little one's learning to walk. As safe as necessary, not as safe as possible. The goal is not to avoid ever falling. The goal is to fall safely and learn how to navigate concrete versus grass versus pebbles on the ground, right? Stones, right? Okay. So let's experiment. Are you ready? We're going to do an experiment together. I need a parent volunteer. So I'm going to let you guys figure it out. Somebody get me a volunteer up here. I actually need probably 3, okay? So pick 3 people. Push your friends up. Oh, look at that! Volunteer on our own. Her friend didn't even push her. Oh, another friend! Yay! Find her. I love it. Friends coming together. Come on up. We need one more. Okay. Oh, no, she's leaving. Hi, entry. High bar. Okay. She's like, nope, that would be part of your group. It's a high bar. Okay. One more.
Dari preschool atau K2?
Don't even, no direction. Because we're not even just like, they can do it. They're grown-ups. We'll wait for you. Can't go to the bathroom until someone gets up here. I love it. Y'all are so brave. Thank you. Love it. No one wants to play with you. I'm so sorry. Y'all look like very nice people. Very nicely. I don't think they look scared or he's scared. Oh, good shot. Good shot. Thank you. Okay. Now, the 3 of you need to decide. One person needs to be wrapped up to be very, very safe. Be super safe. Get them completely wrapped so that they're so safe they can't hurt themselves, okay? And then I need a couple other volunteers to come up who are not wrapped. So 2 of you are wrapping one person, so choose, and here's the tape. It doesn't matter to me. Y'all get it done. And now I need another couple volunteers who are not going to be wrapped. Only one person's going to be wrapped. Anybody else? Another volunteer? You get to play. Another volunteer? Do we have any brave daddies? I love it. I'm loving this so much. You're so distracted by the bubble.
like, do what all kids love to do, which is like climb up and like walk on the chairs and jump off. Okay? All right, those are the 2 tasks. Go! Everybody, go, go, go. Are you okay? She's okay. I bet if she does it again, she's going to learn to do it again. I bet you'll learn. Can't help her. Can't help her. Here, come on, you keep coming. Yeah, we'll just play follow the leader. I follow you. Yeah, good job. Okay. Good, I love how you put your arms out because that helped you stay safe. Good, you gonna do it one more time?
Okay, one more.
Yeah. Hey, that was a good step. Good. Okay, excellent. Okay. Are you playing? Why aren't you playing? Oh, why can't you?
Because all being in a bubble wrap.
Do you wish you had the bubble wrap earlier when you fell?
No.
No. Because if she had the bubble wrap, what would happen? She couldn't
cannot
even
jump.
play. Yeah, she couldn't even try. Can you do anything with that? Can you get up there at all?
No, I'm going to hurt myself. Cannot.
You can't do it. What about the puzzle? Oh, wait. Oh, here. Let's see if she can put the last piece in. Yeah, you can do the last piece.
I need somebody's help. No.
Why? You have a body. Use your body.
My hand is tied up.
Well, I don't know how to help you with that. You'll have to figure it out.
I don't know.
Can she do it? No, she can't. Are you having fun?
No.
Right.
I cannot play.
She can't play. Are you able to play? Yes. Yeah. Were you able to play?
Yes, I can play.
Yeah, no problem. Because she wasn't protected. Do we sometimes do this to our children? Don't hurt yourself. Be careful. Oh, don't climb on that, right? Did you all say, oh my gosh, she's climbing on the furniture, and then you fell, and we're like, oh my gosh, workplace injury. No. No, you were fine, right? Are you maybe going to have a little bruise, maybe, I don't know. But it's good, right? And you were able to move and do anything you needed to do. You could pick up the pieces. Are you going to put the last piece up? I'm sorry, you can't put the puzzle in. Yay, you did it. So this is what happens to our kids sometimes. We think that we're trying to keep them safe, but we're actually making it more dangerous. What did she need to ask for over and over again? I need help. I need help. Did she need help to do the puzzle? Did she need help to climb and walk on the furniture? No. She needed help. So what's happening inside of her now if she's a child? I can't do it. I can't do it. They can do it, but I can't do it. Because we've overprotected her to the point where she's not able to take risks or enjoy the world. Betul? Yay! Good job, Denise! Free her from her thoughts. Fear, in a spiritual way, fear in us as parents is a lot like this bubble wrap. We think we're keeping our children safe, but what we've really done is imprison them. We put them in a bondage. And fear is not a great emotion for us to use to make decisions. We want to use logic, right? Not our fear. And we want to depend on the Lord's grace. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, ladies. So we don't want to make decisions out of fear. We don't want to make our children so safe that they can't enjoy the real world, right? Thank you. So let's look for a minute. I like this quote. all the worry in the world does not prevent death. What does it actually do? It prevents life. Jesus says, do not be afraid, right? He says, trust in me, cast all your cares on me. Do not worry about your life. He is filled with promises of assurance and goodness, and we need to train ourselves and our children to trust in his sovereignty and love and goodness. Not pain-free, but let's watch this real quick. Yeah. Oh, do we not have volume? Sorry.
In the 80s to see how long humans could survive in a self-sustained environment. It later became a research hub.
Yeah, and then use closed captions real quick. Push that, because he talks fast.
Out in Oracle, Arizona lives the Biosphere 2, a massive enclosed ecosystem. Originally, it was created in the 80s to see how long humans could survive in a self-sustained environment. It later became a research hub to study Earth's living systems and improve everything from disease treatment to farming. Inside Biosphere 2, they planted trees, and what they found was fascinating. The trees grew faster than those outside the controlled environment. But there was a problem. They would collapse before reaching maturity. Turns out the trees were deficient in something called stress wood. You can think of stress wood as the thing that helps position the tree as it grows, keeping it stable and optimized for sunlight. But since there was no wind inside the enclosed space, the trees were never pushed to develop it. So as it turns out, trees need stress just as much as they need sun to survive.
Trees need stress just as much as they need sun to survive. Without the wind in that perfect environment that was created, the trees looked healthy at first. They looked like they were growing rapidly, even better than the other trees outside the perfect environment. And before they could grow to maturity, they collapsed and they fell because they didn't have a deep root. So here's a picture of the biosphere. Overprotection in the real world is an experience blocker. That's what Jonathan Haidt says in his book. We end up blocking our children's experiences and learning from them. So trees and children need stress to become mature. Isn't that a beautiful metaphor? Oh, yeah. And I love the verse in Jeremiah. I mean, God's word, right, is just so profound. It has all these things in it that you don't even know are about raising children and growing into maturity. Jeremiah says that God is saying they will be like trees when they're obeying the Lord. They will be like trees planted by the streams whose roots reach down to the water. They won't fear drought when it comes. Their leaves will remain green. They won't be stressed in the time of drought or fail to bear fruit. What a good promise, right? So our children need some things that are risky in order to grow. So we want to train in our children and in ourselves a discover mode and not a defend mode. What does that mean? I really, really like how he describes it. We'll go to break right after this. Discover mode means you're looking for opportunities. You're like a child inside of a candy shop. What can I do? What can I get? How can I do this? Right? You're thinking for yourself, and you're saying, let me grow. That's what your child wants. A defend mode is looking around for dangers. What's going to hurt me? A scarcity mindset. I don't have anything to play with. I can't do it. I don't have the resources. I don't have the equipment. You cling to your team. I need help, I can't do it by myself. And you're constantly saying, keep me safe. And safe in this instance is not healthy. It actually creates anxiety and depression, is where that leads, because they don't have confidence. All right. I think this is the last little bit before we go to break. Overprotection, or what Jonathan Haidt says is safetyism, it can actually cause us as parents to overthink anything that makes our child unhappy must be harmful. Is that a true statement? Anything that makes my child unhappy is harmful. True or false? Absolutely false. There are lots of things in life that will happen that don't make me happy, but they actually are good for me, and they're not harmful. Remember the promise of God in Jeremiah? I promise to give you a hope and a future, to not harm you, for you to prosper in all that you do. God is not harming us when difficult things are allowed in our life. He is growing us to be more like Christ. So bullying, this is a word that we kind of say a lot these days, because we're really, with social media, we're getting really good at using terms and we don't really know what they mean, but we're like, yes, bullying, it's bullying, it's bullying. And so we want to clarify, what is bullying? And just by the way, I have never known an instance of an early childhood student bullying. Like, it's almost impossible for them to do because they don't have that much power because they're little. Do you know what I mean? So they really don't have this scope of authority and power over other kids. So bullying is repeated, unwanted, aggressive behavior involving a power imbalance. I have control over you. Maybe I'm a 7th grade student and I might be bullying a 3rd grade student. I'm on the bus and I'm saying, hey, give me your snacks. I don't want to give you my snack. Give me your snack. You might feel threatened because big, 7th grader, older, not sure how to respond. Does it one time, it's not bullying. He's just being ugly. Does it 2 times? Still probably not bullying, just being ugly. If it becomes a pattern and it becomes if you don't give me your snack, I'm going to beat you up when we get off the bus. And that happens over and over and over until you feel like you have to do it, that's bullying. Does that make sense? Yeah. So bullying is repeated, unwanted, aggressive behavior involving power imbalance. But this is what's normal and typical. Normal child social development is learning how to handle when you don't get your way, when things don't go your way, difficult situations. So we would say unhappiness happens very often in our children. Are they unhappy? Yes, they will be unhappy, probably often. We should not expect that they're always going to be like, are you always like that? No. So of course our children will not be. Will they get hurt feelings? Yes. Leads to unhappiness. Will they have arguments? Yes. Will they be sad that they didn't get their way? Yes. Will they fall down and scrape their knee? Will they get a scratch? Will they get hurt? Of course, those things will happen. Harm is very rare. Statistically, it is very rare. In fact, even the families that have gotten this worry that they can't send their children on the public transportation to go to PVJ like we used to do, that is actually based on the social media echo chamber, where we hear, a child was abducted, a child was abducted, a child was abducted. Oh my gosh, all children might get abducted. Don't go out. It's a fear-based response that's not based in facts, because the percentage of children that get abducted is this big. In fact, in the book, he says you would have to play outside, a child would have to play outside for 750,000 years to reach the statistic of getting abducted. It's very, very, very rare. Has it happened before? Yes. Is it likely to happen? No. And we have ways to help our children know how to cope with it too. So we'll get there in a minute. Abuse, very rare in terms of life-endangering abuse. Sexual abuse is more prevalent and common, but it's not biasa aja, right? Sexual abuse has a little bit higher rate, and that's something that why we do our child safety trainings and why we talk about safe touch, and we're going to see some of that training in here in a little bit. Serious injury, very rare. When we're playing on the playground or when we're at school or when we're outside, very rare. Violence, very, very rare. These are things that are true harm. War, a gunshot wound, right? Those are harm. And so I think sometimes we have a way of saying things are harm that maybe are just, I'm unhappy. It's not really the definition of harm in an abusive child protection way. Okay, so we'll do this after the break. You get to go have a little break, and when we come back, we're gonna do some playing. So find your friends. Because we're gonna all play. I'm gonna put the stuff all over the room, and you get to go to whatever center you want to do it with any friend you wanna go with. Okay, go have a break. We'll come back at
10:21.
Okay.
Now, this is going to be fun. Jadi sekarang Bapak Ibu boleh memilih mau main apa. Ada di sini, ada buku-buku, di belakang ada boleh menggambar. Di sebelah sana ada blocks, ada dua bagian. Di sini juga ada di depan gambar. Jadi boleh pilih dan juga ada mau main bubble wrap kayak tadi, boleh. Bebas. Ya siapa tahu ada yang butuh sensori, silakan. Jadi boleh Bapak Ibu boleh bangkit berdiri. Time's up.
Okay, boys and girls, it's time to clean up your stations and come back to your seats. Clean up, everybody, everywhere. Clean up, everybody, do your share. Okay, boys and girls, it's time to get seated. Oh, I love that you're taking pictures of that. Yes. This is a great use of the cell phone right here. First of all, I'm just going to tell you what I see. All of you are smiling. Every single one of you are smiling. When you first came in, you're like, but now everybody's smiling. I love it. So let me ask you a few questions. I'm going to skip. Sorry, if I can make that skip. Can you click? 2 clicks. Or mini clicks, actually. Keep clicking. Just skip all those words. Just keep going to the next slide. Yeah. The next one. Yeah. Okay. So what we just did was a free play experience, right? But it was somewhat guided, right? Because we had some materials and tools available. But there were no instructions for how to do it, no instructions for what group you had to go with. And you could have come into a group and left a group. You didn't have to stay with that group the whole time. But I noticed that nobody wandered. Everyone just kind of, thank you. Everybody just kind of stayed put, and that's fine too. So here's the question that you might ask your children after an experience like this. What did you do for your activity time? Tell your friend. If you weren't with this person, doesn't matter. Just tell your friend real quick. What did you do? Okay. And then you can draw it here. And then how did it make you feel? Which little emoji would you pick? There's a little bit scared, there's proud, there's joyful, there's confused or unsure, there's frustrated, there's surprised, happy or powerful, right? So it gives your child a choice of ways to think about how playing was making them feel and when they did something by themselves, right? So let me just ask you, now you can go back, Andy, to the slide before. And you can just click at one back. There you go. So my question to ask is, did you notice how free play allowed for creativity, negotiation, safe risks, and failure? How many of you drew a perfect picture? Nobody, right? How many of you did your towers fall when you were building? Did anybody's tower kind of get wobbly and fall over a little bit, maybe? Maybe not, because y'all are master builders. I don't know. But if it falls, right, it's a failure. But you just what? You start over, right? So free play allows children to have creativity, imagination, negotiation, safe risks, and failure. Did you also notice something called attunement? Attunement is like when you play an instrument, like when you get the violin, and first you need to tune it, or the guitar, and you tune it so that it doesn't sound terrible when you play. So actually, children need time, and the way they grow is they need to learn how to attune their bodies in terms of interacting with people. So we see it in babies. When you see a baby, and I'm notorious, so if you ever see me with a baby, the first thing I do, I become a crazy woman. I'm like, oh, lucu sekali, hi, oh, seperti itu. And I wait for the baby to go, right? Because what's happening? The baby is seeing and mimicking and imitating, right? Do you remember that when your kids were little and you would look at them and they would start to imitate your facial expression or what you were doing, right? We even did it here. People were laughing and smiling. When someone laughs and smiles, it causes someone else to laugh and smile, right? And so we start feeding off of each other. You're tuning your emotions and your body to the connections that you're making around you, right? And then you're practicing that give and take also, right? Like if you were working a puzzle, I noticed some of the friends were giving pieces that were matching and she was taking them, right? One puzzle worker wanted to do it by herself, and I asked if she wanted help, and the friends were like, she doesn't want help. And I'm like, are you sure? Because that's what you're saying, but I didn't hear it from her. So, so I don't know. But you know what I mean? It was interesting because it's that dynamic of, do we give? Do we take? How do we engage in this play, right? And then social learning is happening, right? You're figuring out who you want to join, who you want to be around, because that's the person that will maybe influence you or that you like their influence. So who are you going to copy? Who are you deciding to interact with, and how do you interact with them? It was really cute at the little tower building over here. I think you two were building, and he was building his very, very tall tower. And are you the wife? Yeah, okay, I thought so. As husband and wife, I'm just making sure. Okay. I'm like, pretty sure, because that would be weird if it wasn't. But anyway, because she was sitting kind of close, and then she starts going, to his really skinny, tall tower. And it was really cute. It was playful, right? But I was like, oh, I wonder what would happen if it falls over, right? And it would be a fun social interaction experiment, right? Well, he'd be like, what are you doing? What? You know, and she'd be like, oh, that was so fun, you know, right? So play is teaching children so many things, and it's just pleasurable. Did you have fun when you played? It was just relaxing and enjoyable, right? Yeah. Okay, so next. Skip. Yeah. So here's what we want to do. These are the practical action steps for how do we recover a play-based childhood. We have phones in the world. That's okay. We know phones are good. There's a time and a place for them, and there's a purpose for them. But what do we do to make sure our children are not being negatively impacted or harmed by this device or the technology that they're exposed to? So one of the things we want to do is make sure our kids are trained for discover mode. Practice and encourage, I did it myself kinds of tasks. Do you see some of the things that are happening there that children are working on in the home? What kind of responsibilities do you see? Yeah, shout loud because I'm kind of deaf, sorry. Yeah, so washing the dishes. Yep, helping with the dishes. What else? Cleaning up, maybe. Walking the dog. You see, she's got a chore. She's going to go take the dog for a walk. And look, I don't see an adult nearby. Now, clearly, an adult took this picture, right? So there's someone in the area of safety, but she's not, she has permission, right, to take that dog. And the dog may see a rabbit and go, and she's going to learn real fast. Do I have the strength to pull, or do I need to let go, right? She's going to learn that skill, right? She's going to be attuned to the situation. Delayed gratification. Do you see delayed gratification, meaning you don't get it right away? Where's the picture of that? And I love that picture of the little boy with his eyes like, ooh, that looks really good. He probably has been told, you can't eat that before dinner. And he's like, man, it looks really good. Right? So he's having to wait to eat that tasty snack. Do you see a skill that's being developed in a little person there on the steps? What is that skill? Tying shoes. That's a hard skill. What do we tend to do these days? Let me just ask you, how many of you in this room have bought Velcro shoes for your children? Probably all of you. Or slip-on shoes, right? If you do not have a pair of shoes with shoelaces, buy them. Don't send them to school. Do not send them for the teachers to teach your children. This is an at-home thing they need to practice. Putting on shoes, learning to tie their shoes. It's a life skill. They need to do that, right? I put on a little top this morning. I couldn't decide what to wear. I had a little top, and it has like a little panel, and you put little two ties on it. And this morning, my fingers, because I'm old, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have arthritis. And I was like, stretch my fingers so that I could tie. And then I finally said, never mind, I'm not wearing this shirt. Because my tying skill was not really working this morning. Okay. Boundaries and disappointment. Those are things your child needs to experience, right? Like the little girl walking the dog, she probably has a boundary. Go to the end of the street and then come back. She's probably not told, just go walk wherever you want to walk, right? So she's probably got some boundaries and responsibilities. And maybe she wants to go further, and it's disappointing that she doesn't get to go further, but those are the boundaries, right? Okay, next. This is what you want your children to be able to say and feel. Everybody say it. I can do hard things. Not, I can't do it. I don't know how. I don't want to. I can do hard things. That's a life skill they need. Next. Another way to let them go, oh, what happened to the picture? Did I erase it? Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm like, what? I know there's a picture there. Did I accidentally delete it in my technology problem? You want to teach conflict resolution skills. Okay? Children are going to get into arguments. They're going to get into conflict, just like we do as adults, right? This is actually, I highly recommend this in your marriage as well, okay? And so if you notice, it's called the conflict corner. And so the reason it's called the conflict corner is this is actually taken from a PE teacher who teaches, and he was using some of the anxious generation materials, and he came up with this concept, and I just love it. So, you know, we have PE. You could just hear them upstairs bouncing the balls. There's 72 students in grammar school having PE with 4 to 5 coaches. So just imagine 72 crazy children running around. It's like herding kittens. It's like, oh, how do we get them all to do, right? So it's a hard thing. And the coaches have been working on their management skills so that the children are safe. But one thing that I was reminded of when I was preparing for y'all's seminar is I don't want to make them too safe. Remember? Safe as necessary, but not so safe that they don't have any experiences, right? And so one of the experiences we need to teach our kids is how to resolve conflict. They don't need mommy and daddy to do it, and they don't need a teacher. They need to learn these skills. And so here are the skills. You want to stand up and I'll show it to you. So the first thing you do, we've gotten in a fight. Maybe we were fighting over the blocks. She took a block that I wanted, and then she pushed my blocks down, and it made me angry, and now I'm upset. And so we go to the teacher, and what the teacher can say, or parent can say is, I think you two need to go over to the conflict corner and work this out together. And so the teacher's not intervening, the parent's not intervening, the kids are holding their hands like this together. And then they explain the problem. You took my block and it made me mad.
Sorry.
Oh, thank you. I wanted to play with it. Next time, will you ask first?
Okay.
No. Thank you so much. I love playing with you. Please be my friend forever.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, let's go play. Right? Now, obviously, that's the ideal, right? Now, we know, but it doesn't work like that. But look what it says. Listen to each other. I did a bad job. I didn't really listen to her. She didn't have a chance to explain. Oh, I should do it again. You took my block and I didn't like it.
Because I want to play with your block.
But I was playing with it.
Yeah, I want to play with you together.
Oh, okay. So, how about you take a turn and then I'll take a turn?
Okay.
But will you ask next time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I love you so much. You're my good friend. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Right? Okay, right? So what you're doing is you're teaching them how to listen to each other and think of a solution to solve the problem. They need to solve it because they can, especially over little things like that. Yeah.
What if the other party doesn't want to
Participate. Yeah, it's a great question. So it's just like with anything that you start in your home when it's something new. Say, we're going to practice a new thing. We're going to practice a new game. Call it a game. If you call it a game, we all want to play. We're going to call it the Let's Be Friends game. Let's Be Friends Again game. Make up a name, whatever. And say, okay, so here's what we do. Here are the rules. I'm going to show you how. So when you start something new, you have to teach it. So I do, then we do, and now you do. Okay? I do, we do, and then you do. So you'll teach it when it's not a conflict time. Don't wait for the conflict. Start like, hey, we're going to try something new in our house. It's called the Let's Be Friends Again game. When we sometimes get in trouble or, get fussy with each other and we start quarreling, let's say siblings, right? Brothers and sisters. And mommy and daddy are actually not going to help you solve the problem because you know what? You're so smart and you're capable. You can solve the problem. And we know you can because you can do hard things, right? And so then you practice it before it's real conflict. and it's a game, right? You play, like, pretend like you did this. Okay, now let's play the game, right? Let's be friends again game. You practice. And then when it really happens, oh, it's time for the let's be friends again game. You guys can go over here and we're going to keep working. Let us know how it, come tell us what happened. So hard to do, right? To not try to be in the middle of it and be the referee, right? Because we've conditioned ourselves to referee everything. And I will confess, I was terrible at this as a parent. I was the worst. And it took me several years to realize I need to stop being the referee for my children because I'm exhausted. And they are waiting for me to pick a side, and then they're mad at me, right? Because I picked somebody's side and not their side. And I'm like, I don't like this position. This is not a fun position to be in, right? So it doesn't work every time. And there's some things that actually need correction, right? Like if if your sibling is whacking someone over the head, I mean, if it's mild, they need to fix it together. If it's dangerous and creating a bruise, oh, now we need to stop. Now this is a discipline for you because this is not how we treat each other, right? And that's different. Does that make sense? But I like this idea. Will you forgive me? So this is not a Christian source, so you can add that little heart. I think you should add, will you forgive me? Go ahead and click that button. I don't know where you went. Oh, there it is. So, here are the words that you want to teach your children. First of all, use your words when they're little. It's so easy for them just to grab, push, pull, kick, scream, ah! Right? So you want to say, may I have a turn? We're going to practice. Oh, did you mean may I have a turn instead of grabbing that? Will you share with me, please? Mm-hmm. And then if you don't like what someone's doing, please stop. Please give me space. I don't want you to be that close to me right now, right? Please ask me nicely, right? You're teaching them how to tell what they need in a way that is just normal human interaction. They don't need you to come do that for them. They can learn to do that for themselves. I didn't like it when, teach them that language, it made me feel, right? And then thank you for sharing. You're a good friend, you're a good sister, you're a good brother, right? So it's a really nice little pattern if you want to take the idea. Feel free to change it and make it work for your family and how it would fit best, but I just thought that was kind of a fun idea. All right, so teaching conflict resolution, really important. What we do not do is shame. What we do not do is hurt and punish, right? Other people when they've harmed us. That's not the right response because that's not what the Lord has asked of us. He's asked us to forgive, right? Because he's forgiven us. Okay, next. So this is what your kids need to be able to say, right? What is it? I can get along and solve problems. The burden needs to be on the children to figure out how to get along with each other because that's healthy social skills. That's called collaboration, right? In the big business world, teamwork. Okay, next. This is the safety part. For those of you that were like, but I think that we need to do some safety things. We do. Safety is important. So we do need to teach safety awareness, but we don't teach it from a defend mode. We teach it from a confidence standpoint. You are capable. And here's what we teach them. Safe touch only. No one can touch your body, the parts of your body that your swimsuit covers. Nobody but mommy and daddy can do that. Or whoever, you know what I mean? Like if it's nanny or something, that's fine. Stop and move away if you are being hurt. Stop and move away. Little ones can understand that. Share with an adult if someone makes you feel uncomfortable. No secrets from parents. That takes the power of an abuser away because an abuser will always say, this is just between us. And you want that to not ever happen. So there's the fancier way that they did it over there. I gave you the early childhood language on the right side. The other way that they do it for older children, like elementary, is recognize no one can touch the parts of your body your bathing suit covers. Resist. Make a fuss, run, scream, kick if someone bothers you. Now, what they don't mean is when you're on the playground. They mean in a danger situation, like a stranger is trying to grab you, someone you don't know. This is what this is for, is like danger situation. So that's not how we respond to normal playground quarrels, correct? And so that's the difference that's tricky that you have to sort of work with your little ones on because they don't know the difference sometimes, right? And then report, yeah. Okay, next. So this is what you want your children to come away with. What? I protect my body. I'm okay even when I'm unhappy. Remember that thing that we talked about earlier about harm and unhappiness are not the same thing. Okay, next. So the big idea from Jonathan Haidt is just, sorry, I keep saying his name wrong, is less screens and more play. And notice it's unstructured. It's fine for you to have swimming lessons. It's great to have extracurricular activities. All those things are good. Just remember what we talked about, that the play-based childhood is the majority of a child's time is unstructured play, not the dictated, directed, highly regimented, scheduled style. There's a place for that, but you just don't want it to be out of balance. Okay, next. These are my granddaughters. Oh, gosh. That's my whole heart right there. So, just smush. That picture right in the middle with the little bear and the baby doll, the little bear chair and the baby doll, Chase just sent that this morning. And so this is Ella and Rosie. And I want you to notice, so my son is actually kind of the primary caregiver, and the wife, my daughter-in-law, she is the primary breadwinner. So my son is in seminary right now. So he has a scholarship to go to seminary. So during the day, he's taking care of the girls while she's working full-time. And he is then doing his schooling in the evenings when she's off work at 5. Then he starts doing his studies and usually studies until about 1 in the morning. And so he's kind of the primary caregiver, and I could not be more proud of the daddy that he is, because I just want you to notice, do you see devices? No. So over here, the girls in the left corner, Mama captured the picture of them helping Daddy make cookies. And they've got that little step stool so they can reach the counter, and they're working on cookies together. Ella and Rosie also use that step stool to help wash the dishes at the sink. And then Rosie over here on the right, she is 19 months old, and she's already got her pencil going and working on her fine motor skills, right? They're at a children's museum, and they're playing, and then Sister Ella was sitting right next to her, and Ella's doing her markers and stuff. Ella is 3. She just had her 3rd birthday. And then you can see the little picture in the middle. Ella is wearing, and that's a FaceTime picture. You can see me really tiny in the corner. We mailed her a little princess outfit and jewelry and high heels, plastic high heels for her birthday. And so she was putting them on, and she was showing me. She's like, I'm Princess Ella. And I'm like, yes, you are. And then that's Rosie at the park. And Chase sent that picture, and I loved it. He said, a windy day at the park. And look, it's like those trees. She is almost being blown over, and that ball is like twice her size, practically. She can hardly carry it. But she's out there kicking that ball and running in the grass and playing, right? So I just think they're doing a great job. Up in the middle, they're taking care of the baby. They're giving the baby milk. And Ella's helping Rosie hold the baby correctly. Okay, next. So this is the other thing. Besides play, you need to read. Why? Read to your child daily because it is so powerful. Next. 90% of a child's brain is full size by age 5. That's amazing, isn't it? Remember those sensitive years, 0 to 5. Fill their brain with language, words, ideas. Next. Children who are read to every day hear 1.4 million more words by age 5 compared to kids who rarely hear books. Did you hear how much language that is? 1.4 million more words than kids who haven't been read to. This exposes your child to vocabulary, memory, comprehensive, and expressive language. Next. I love this little IG. If you want to find it online, it's called Parent Influence. Early readers show lower screen cravings. They don't need a screen. Better self-regulation, self-control, and healthier sleep patterns. Books naturally slow the pace of stimulation. A play-based childhood is also sometimes nicknamed a slow growth childhood. We don't need to be in a hurry to have them grow up. This time is precious. Next. Children who are read to regularly score higher in literacy, math, problem solving, and listening comprehension, and that stays true all the way through high school. What you're doing in the early childhood years has long-lasting impact. Next. When parents read aloud, the child practices stillness, being still, focused attention, turn taking. Let's turn the page. It's your turn to turn the page. And delayed gratification. I want to get my snack after we've read the story. MRI studies show increased activation in the brain regions responsible for sustained attention with children who've been read to. Next. This is the important part for you, depending on where your kiddos are. 0 to 12 months, you want to do high contrast books that like black and white, red and yellow, things that have real strong color contrast and have rhythm and repetition. 1 to 3 years, you read picture books that name objects and simple stories. 3 to 5 years, story sequencing, predicting outcomes. Dialogic reading just means you're having a conversation about the book. What do you think's going to happen next? Ooh, do you think you would be scared if you were her? It's just talking about the book. 5 years plus, they're starting to grow in their independent reading habits, but you should still have a daily shared reading because it's an emotional bond and it also continues to grow their brain because where they can read at age 5 is not as high level as what you can read to them. So the language is still going to be richer when you read aloud to them from a higher level book than what they can do for themselves. Next. That's my son, Chase, reading to my grandbabies. Look at that baby girl, Rosie. She is a bookaholic. I mean, she has pulled every book off of the shelf and out of the basket, and look how she's just sitting there turning the pages. When she got a book at Christmas, she got this little brown bear book. And I mean, she wasn't even 18 months yet. She sat on the floor. It's a board book. And she opened it up. And the first one was a bear. And she goes, grrr. Then she turned the page and it's a duck. And she goes, quack, quack. And then she turned the page and it was a bird. And she goes, tweet, tweet. And then she turned the page. Like she knew every animal sound in the book. And she was reading the book to herself. Because she's been read to so much. Chase is a huge reader, and he started reading to those kids when they were inside. But reading stamina helps kids stick with the book even when it gets tricky. It encourages children to keep going instead of giving up. Without stamina, even strong readers struggle to read without zoning out. And so the good news is you can actually teach reading stamina because it's a skill, and you do it by continuous reading and doing small pieces at a time. Next. So these are the big takeaways. Later I'll share the slides with you, and I'll do it better. I'll have one whole slide that'll have hyperlinks to all the places where I found a lot of cool data and research and ideas that I think you guys would love. So I'll do that later. Next, we're almost done. A few takeaways. Here's what we're saying. We're not saying don't use smartphones. We're saying delay. Do not use the smartphone as a babysitter for your child because The smartphone has internet access, and internet access means pornography, adult content, things that you cannot control that will pop up just at the swipe of a finger. So do not use an internet-connected device as a babysitter. If you are going to have a child watch Bluey or watch a show, it's fine, but you need to supervise it. Can't be doing that by themselves because it's too easy for them to swipe and see and find something that they should never see and know. So what the data shows is that mental health and well-being in young children improves with older age of the first smartphone. So it's kind of hard to read these graphics, but I'm going to kind of give you this quick summary. On the left-hand side, it's the mental health quotient score. And the top line is males, the bottom line is females. It says when you have a child starting with a smartphone at age 5 or 6, their mental health quotient is like a -20, which means they're struggling. And it gets better, but it continues to be not strong all the way to when they're 18. They're constantly in the category of struggling. They never get to enduring or managing. That's the top line, 50. Succeeding and thriving is not even a goal for them because they are in the distressed, struggling category in mental health. If you look at the other side, the percentage of distressed and struggling students, so this shows if you wait to give your smartphone, so if you give it at age 5, you have like 75% of girls are distressed and struggling. And 43% of boys are, if you give them a phone at age 5 or 6 or 7. But if you wait until they are about 15 to 16, they're now in the range of enduring, managing, and succeeding. Older brains can handle the information blast, the addictive nature, the discernment of a smartphone. Children's brains cannot, and it is hurting them. We're sending them to Mars, and I don't know if they can come back to Earth if we don't rescue them. Do you know what I mean? Next. This is also just a stat you can see later when you look at the slides up close. It shows the categories of mental health and well-being. There's adaptability and resilience, drive and motivation, mind-body connection, cognition, social self, mood, and outlook. And it's just showing the difference between females and males. Again, when you give them their smartphone, where are they on that dimensional score? If you look at giving a child a phone at the age of 7, their social self is in the negative, like 12 category. They're in the struggling category. And so it takes a long time for them to develop to get to a place where they can manage. And that's just not fair to do that to children. Next. Do not overprotect your children in the real world, but absolutely protect your child in the virtual world. That's where the danger is. The real world is not as dangerous as we think and feel it is. The virtual world is far more dangerous than we think and feel it is. Next. So here's what you can do. Did you know that big tech makes social media addictive on purpose? Did you know that porn sites and sexual predators actively seek ways to access children, especially in online gaming forums? Roblox, is that what it's called? That is a dangerous place to be, for a child to be unsupervised. Predators are known to visit that site. It is dangerous. Next. So can you use screens? Yes. Praise God that we have screens so that I can see my grandchildren who live half a world away. But it is always supervised. And it's co-play. Internet devices are not a good babysitter. They're dangerous. So do it together. Do it together. Don't ever let it be like that little boy in the room who's got a device by himself. That is the same thing as putting out pornographic magazines on your coffee table and saying, don't open them. Just don't open them. It's very, very dangerous. Do not let children have devices in bedrooms that are connected to the internet. Next. You don't raise resilient kids by clearing the path. You raise them by walking beside them while they struggle. And that's what we need to do in the virtual world with our kids. Next. The Anxious Generation website says there's 4 simple rules that we can all do together as a community, and this is what I hope CBCS becomes known for. No smartphones before the age of 14. No social media before the age of 16. You can give your kids what they call a dumb phone. If you just want to make sure they're safe and you know where they are, give them a dumb phone with no internet and that's just messaging only, like text, like the old-fashioned Nokia style, right? Because then I can contact you can contact me, but you can't do any of the other stuff that you don't need to be doing. Phone-free schools, check, we have that. That's supposed to say more childhood independence. Sorry, that graphic's covering it. Next. I love this graphic. Get your kid addicted to real dopamine. Morning sunlight, getting lost in a book, snuggling up with a pet, proper rest and deep sleep, laughing till their cheeks hurt, being bored. Boredom is okay, so they can invent something to do. Real conversation and connection with friends. Movement, climbing on the furniture, cartwheels, jumping. Cooking a simple meal for the family by themselves. Doing hard things and realizing they can handle them. I think that's my last slide. Am I right? You want to check? Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Okay. Yay, you can go back to the next one. Thank you.
Kita beri tepuk tangan buat Mrs. Denise Strickland. Banyak hal yang kita pelajari hari ini. Siapa yang merasa terberkati? Ada hal-hal mungkin yang ada insight baru, ada yang sudah tahu tapi oh iya betul ya diingetin lagi gitu ya. Oke, sekarang waktunya pertanyaan nih. Kalau ada hal-hal yang mau ditanyakan atau yang struggling, yang mungkin ini menjadi struggle orang tua lain juga. Jadi jangan takut ditanyakan, ini akan memberkati yang lain juga. Ada pertanyaan? Nanti nyesel loh, udah sampai rumah baru, aduh kenapa nggak nanya. Ya.
Found all of this getting ready to teach you. So, it's not like I just learned this like 2 days ago. And I think I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so great. It's 5 strategies for parents to free the anxious generation. Now called Good Inside. But what it does is it gives you And so she talks about like a parent's job is to establish safety by setting emotional regulation by experiencing including reactions to boundaries. And then it says, so how do you do that in day-to-day life? And it gives you an example. So you have to tell yourself, okay, my job is to set boundaries and validate. My child is going to react and express their feelings, and it probably will not be pleasant. This might sound like, I know you want TikTok. I get it. My number 1 job is to keep you safe, and right now, keeping you safe means saying no. You might add that, hey, we can talk about this when you get to be age 12, 14, 16, whatever it is that you've decided. We can talk about this again,
But right now, the answer is no, because I love you and I want to keep you safe. So it gives you like language to say. Now, to be clear, your child will not respond with, oh, I get that. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad. No. Thanks for being such a sturdy parent. No, they will never respond that way. Your child will do their job, which is express their feelings and emotions, sometimes quite loudly, and sometimes to your discomfort. They will express disappointment and frustration. But over time, as we tolerate their tough feelings, they will start to learn how to tolerate those same feelings inside themselves. Isn't that beautiful? I'm like, that's genius. It's like you have to go into parenting like you're going into war sometimes. You know what I mean? It's like the armor of God. Man, put on the armor of God. I'm gearing up. I love you, and I'm having to say something hard that maybe not others are doing, but I want to do this for you, and I know you're going to express your feelings. It's going to be uncomfortable, but this is the way it's going to be because I love you. It's not out of anger. It's out of love, just like our Father does in heaven for us, right? So anyway, it has great, great, great tools and resources and how to do it every day-to-day life, right? So good. So good.
Oke, ada pertanyaan? Mungkin saya kasih satu kesempatan atau dua. Oke.
In classical Christian education where we say
Oke, amin. Kita mau sama-sama punya anak-anak yang tangguh, amin. Punya anak-anak yang juga bisa menikmati dunia ini. We are living on earth, not on Mars gitu ya. Menikmati apa yang memang Tuhan sudah sediakan dari awalnya dan bagaimana Dia membentuk kita sebagai manusia ya. Oke. Terakhir nih, yakin gak ada yang mau nanya? Gak ada? Ya silakan Bu Julia.
It says that no smartphones before 14. Saya juga nggak kasih smartphone, tapi karena pandemik jadi pakai gadget ya. How to? Yes.
So that's actually something they address in the book and something we can address with that guide that I'm going to give you. It is okay to have allowed something and then to change your mind. Right? You have permission to do that because you're the adult. And to say, I learned some things about this tool that I didn't know and that actually is better for you to wait. So I want you to be able to contact me. So here's the phone that you can contact me with. But the internet access is what we need to not have at this time. Because I love you. And I learned that this is actually not safe for you. Yeah. Now, that conversation is also your discretion too, right? Like if the kid is already 14, already had access to it, it may be, I'm still going to allow you to have this tool, but we're going to have some different technology usage rules around how we do it. One of the sites I saw, I thought it had a really fun, not fun, but a really good, I'll put this in the slides too. I forgot to include it. It has like how we navigate tech in our home. Ask permission. Every device is on loan. This is not your phone. This is mom and dad's phone that you're borrowing. That's important. Co-play. Curiosity, yes, be curious, learn. But walk away if you see something that bothers you and tell us. let us know. If you get mad when I take it away, then it's gone for a day. I love that rhyme. If you get mad when I take it away, it's gone for a day. That is a nice, easy thing to implement. And they will learn to not throw a fit. And the question you want to teach them when they're online is, am I going to be helpful or hurtful when I'm online? Yeah, so anyway, I had some good tips. But there's never too late, and that was one of the things he emphasized in the book. It's never too late to make a change. Because do you make changes in your life all the time? Yeah. I learned things about dieting, and I think, oh, I shouldn't diet this way. I should do it this way because I got new information, right? No problem. I just got new information, and I need to make a change because I love you. Yeah.
Oke, terima kasih pertanyaannya. Oke, yakin? Sudah? Oke, terima kasih. Terima kasih untuk waktunya yang luar biasa. Tepuk tangan buat diri sendiri juga. Sudah belajar lebih lagi, hebat. Kita akan segera tutup saja acara hari ini. Seperti tadi yang saya sampaikan, carpool seperti biasa. Jadi kalau ketika keluar ternyata queue-nya sudah berjalan, ya harap mengantri saja. Kalau tidak mau mengantri boleh menunggu, nanti boleh dijemput langsung juga, tapi setelah antriannya selesai. Ya langsung, maksudnya kalau mau jadi walker boleh. Oke. Ya.
Ide bagus sekali.
Silakan Miss Sheila.
Karena dia selalu pikir tentang otak PR.
Like PR, right? PR.
Oke, selamat siang Bapak Ibu sekalian. Saya percaya, saya yakin Bapak Ibu banyak sekali belajar dari apa yang telah dibagikan oleh Mrs. Denise ya. Banyak tools, equip yang memperkaya kita untuk mendidik anak-anak kita supaya menjadi lebih baik gitu ya. Nah, saya rindu supaya banyak orang tua murid lain yang mungkin hari ini berhalangan hadir atau mungkin di luar CBCS juga sama bisa belajar ya dari apa yang kita dapat pada pagi hari ini. Jadi kalau misalnya Bapak Ibu merasa memang nanti setelah selesai kemudian setelah mengikuti kegiatan parent seminar hari ini kemudian di rumah bisa mempraktekkan tools-tools yang dibagikan hari ini yang mengequip Bapak Ibu. Kalau memang Bapak Ibu tidak keberatan bisa misalnya post di Instagram Bapak Ibu kemudian di tag ke @cbcsbdg ya. Supaya kita bisa repost. Tujuannya apa? Bukan untuk mengekspos sesuatu, tapi untuk kita berbagi sehingga banyak orang tua lain yang bisa diberkati mulai apa yang kita dapat gitu ya. Dan mereka bisa belajar mungkin punya ide gitu ya untuk mengalihkan anak-anak dari device melakukan hal-hal eksperimen lain yang bisa dieksplor dan tidak hanya untuk anaknya tapi kita punya relationship yang lebih dekat dengan melalui games, melalui course yang kita lakukan bersama. Seperti itu.
And also when you do something like this in community, yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's like this is a
Challenge, like the, I don't know, 7th grade moms all have this challenge and we're all doing it together. It makes a huge difference because then it's like y'all are standing as a team in defense and out of love for your children. And it's not just, it's not fair because all my friends, you're like, actually all your friends are joining this too. Makes it a lot easier.
Ya, thank you. Jadi kalau nggak keberatan silahkan seperti itu. Semoga bisa spread sehingga lebih banyak lagi orang yang diberkati. Ya, anaknya kalau fotonya mukanya nggak mau kelihatan, it's okay. Ya kita bisa akalin dengan mungkin kelihatan tangannya atau apapun itu. Gitu. Yang penting tujuannya kita bisa share untuk orang tua lain. It's a challenge. Thank you. God bless everyone.
Ya, terima kasih Miss Sheila. Oke, mungkin juga bisa nanti jadi punya pertemanan main-main bareng gitu ya. Jadi supaya sama-sama nih, saya juga nggak mau anak-anak saya main gadget gitu. Jadi yuk kumpul, ketemu di taman gitu ya, di playground gitu. Saya bisa lebih kumpul ya. Oke, kita tutup saja di dalam doa. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu. Misri boleh minta tolong untuk menutup dalam doa.
Sebelum doa kita bilang, last screen, play more. 1, 2, 3. Last screen, 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Last screen, play more. One more time. The last screen, play more. Let's pray. Bapak kami mengucap syukur Tuhan buat kami udah diingatkan lagi terus Tuhan untuk berjaga-jaga, untuk menjadi orang tua Tuhan yang lebih bijak lagi Tuhan, untuk membangun, memuridkan anak-anak ini di tengah-tengah dunia yang semakin jahat, yang semakin jauh dari Engkau. Berikan kepada kami hikmat Tuhan, berikan kepada kami hati-Mu lebih dan lebih lagi Tuhan. Kami tahu Tuhan mungkin sebagai orang tua Tuhan kami merasa takut, bingung, bimbang Tuhan. Tapi kami berdoa Tuhan biar ada hikmat Engkau, damai sejahtera Engkau Tuhan yang membantu kami, anugerah Engkau Tuhan. Yang membantu kami membawa setiap anak-anak ini Tuhan menjadi anak-anak yang takut akan Engkau. Biar menjadi anak-anak yang benar-benar Tuhan tumbuh Tuhan mengasihi orang lain Tuhan, yang benar-benar tumbuh Tuhan sesuai dengan apa yang Kau inginkan Tuhan. Kami mengucap syukur Tuhan, kami berdoa Tuhan menyerahkan setiap perkembangan anak-anak ini ke dalam tangan Engkau. Kalau kami sebentar lagi akan berpisah satu dengan yang lain, biar Engkau yang tutup bungkus kami juga dalam perjalanan ke tempat kami masing-masing Tuhan. Terima kasih Tuhan Yesus, di dalam nama-Mu kami sudah berdoa dan mengucap syukur. Amin. Okay. Last screen, play more. Boleh di IG-nya juga nanti ya. Terima kasih. Kalau masih ada snack nggak? Mungkin boleh dibawa pulang.